Good day, Singapore. This is former Manchester United player Peter Schmeichel, and you're listening to the guys on 938 Live Sports.
From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sports. Cheers.
You're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Noor Farhan, taking you through the hour with our EPL fans in the studio today. And it's back to the Premier League this weekend after all the international action last week. Plenty of player debuts to anticipate, goals to enjoy, and perhaps even downfalls to witness. Well, let's get the ball rolling in the centre circle to the sound of the referee starting whistle, shall we? And let's introduce our guests for the show this morning. We've got Tottenham Hotspur diehard fan Dino Nair. Bruce Kam is here as well, and he's the head of PR and media for the Manchester United Supporters Club. And they're joined by Henry Han, committee member of the official Liverpool FC fan club in Singapore. And completing our panel today is Eric Ong, who's the president of the Arsenal Singapore Supporters Club. And welcome to the show, guys. And Eric, if I'm not wrong, it's your second tenure as the president? It's the second year, sorry?
That's right. It's a 2-year term. So
right.
I just started my second year.
And how are you enjoying it so far as the Gunners head?
It's a lot of work, actually.
A lot of work.
Yes,
it's not as easy as it looks. Right, let's begin with you as an Arsenal fan, and I'm sure you're aware. The talking point of the week has been Danny Welbeck, grabbing the headlines even for England this week. 2 goals against Switzerland for the Three Lions. Are you expecting him to be a revelation for the team this season?
I think revelation is a bit strong word, but a lot of us are looking forward to seeing him in the red and white of Arsenal. So he brings us a lot of pace up front, and hopefully with a run of games in the center, in the middle, we'll see him fulfill his tremendous potential.
My friends from Arsenal were Arsenal fans, of course. They were talking about pace. You've got Welbeck, you've got Walcott if he's back, and Sanchez. Potentially, that's the fastest counter-attacking trio in the Premier League, don't you think so?
Yeah, Walcott was just talking about this just the other day. He's on the way back. With him up front, with Welbeck, with Sanchez, even with Podolski. Podolski, he gets on the end of the balls, and he's got a hammer of a left foot. So I think the player that would really benefit from this could be Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil he likes to play with players with pace up front to run onto his true balls. And I think we kind of lack that option to give opponents' defense something else to think about last season when Walcott went off injured. So looking forward to that.
All right, now Eric, if you were to look at the Arsenal setup for a while, the team plays with just one striker, and then there's also, you mentioned, Podolski, Joel Campbell, Yaya Sanogo, and the injured Olivier Giroud up front. How are 4 people going to compete for one small slot in the team? Don't you think that's a bit difficult for Wenger?
If you look at the names that you mentioned, Campbell and Podolski are not exactly your out-and-out forward, so they have opportunities for them to come in wide on the right, wide on the left. Podolski, he's not going to play down the centre, so you've got lots of games coming up, so I think there will be plenty of chances for them.
Indeed. In fact, in midweek there's going to be the Dortmund game against the Champions League, so I suppose the squad rotation would do the team good. Right, don't you think so?
We seem to be playing Dortmund every other season. Yeah. They might as well just pair us up and give us a Dortmund season pass or something.
That's true. Well, Bruce, we were talking about Welbeck with Eric just now,
yes,
and as a
right.
Man U supporter,
correct.
Do you think that it was right, though, for Man U to let go of a homegrown striker in Danny Welbeck?
Well, personally, I don't think it's actually that right now to let Danny Welbeck go, as what Eric has already mentioned. He provides a lot of pace, although his finishing is still a little bit needs more polishing to be done, to be honest. Hence, that's why when Louis van Gaal said in his press conference 1 or 2 days ago, he said that his scoring record compared to the present strikers at United, it's just not up to par. That's all I can say.
Now, I'm sure you heard former Red Devils players making it big outside of Old Trafford. I mean, Paul Pogba comes to mind. He was a good player. He was let go.
Right.
So too Giuseppe Rossi. He's in Fiorentina. Gerard Piqué. Even David Beckham, after he left Man United to Real Madrid, he made it quite big.
Not to forget a certain Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, let's not forget. But I heard that he might be coming back though next season.
Well, but that's another issue altogether.
That's another issue altogether. But on that topic, on that group of players, do you think Welbeck can match those levels of his predecessors who have departed from Old Trafford and made it big?
It all very much depends on how good or how efficient the Arsenal midfield service is going to be like what Eric has mentioned. Mesut Ozil supplies to Danny Welbeck's position. Is he going to finish up the chances as easily as how Arsenal previous goals seems to be like? That all very much depends to be seen. How Matthew Flamini is going to be efficient protecting the back four and supplying the good service to Mesut Ozil to make the killer passes for Danny Welbeck to score. So it's still a long way to go. That's what I feel.
Right. Now, players come, players go. Don't you agree, Henry?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Liverpool and that key Liverpool man who's now with the Catalans. Let's not mention names, you all know.
Okay.
He has beaten quite a few players, I heard. Well,
come on. What's with this biting thing?
Well, yeah, let's put the past in the past, shall
Okay.
we? Now, the team have somewhat gotten used to his absence, with the emergence of Raheem Sterling taking over the role as the focal point in the attack. It seems like all attacking passes go through him in the diamond position. But is the England youngster ready, to shoulder all that responsibility, all that goal-scoring responsibility for the Reds, you think?
Okay, my personal opinion is Sterling is at the age of 20, still young, still growing, still learning his traits. The boss has given him that free will, has put in to place, and also to a certain extent has given him more of the tactical sense on how to play and stuff. He has the pace, he has the skill sets. We just need him to toughen up mentally and maybe physically not to be pushed off a bit more. But yeah, playing at the top of the diamond, just behind the striker, seems to be the plan now. But I guess the boss will probably have some plans for him to play on the left. Or if it's a 4-4-2, he might be playing a bit on the left or the right. Quoting a little bit like Arsenal old style, like when they had Thierry Henry, there was slightly, he's supposed to be a striker, the second striker, but he's on the flank. So, nowadays the game, anything goes. There's no such thing as a player that's playing a fixed formation. There's only such thing as a player that's talented enough to play what the manager wants him to play.
But what's interesting about Liverpool this season is their plan B, which could be very well their plan A. I'm referring, of course, to Mario Balotelli. He's replacing the maverick Luis Suarez. But is he too much of an unpredictable factor, though, for Brendan Rodgers? He's a hard player to control. Don't you agree?
He has issues. I have a personal opinion that talented players have a certain attitude. If a talented player doesn't have an attitude, he's not that special, But Brendan Rodgers, I think he has good man management skills, as shown during the way he processed Suarez during that trying time. So I think it's a good buy because we know what he can do in Premier League. I haven't been in Man City, so we know what he has. So if the boss can kind of, smoothen his way, man management skills there, and he is focused on the game, I think we will get a very interesting return this season.
Right then. Well, from Anfield all the way to White Hart Lane, Vinod, we come to you now as a Spurs fan. Now, 2 wins in 3 matches so far. That's not a bad record at all. But that recent loss against Liverpool, though, in your last game, kind of like shows that the club is going to find it hard against top 4 opponents. As a Tottenham fan, do you think the team is doing well in that sense?
It's still early days. And if you were to look at the very first game against West Ham, I must admit West Ham was the better team. And Spurs still got away with a 1-0 victory. And against Queen's Park Rangers, they made Spurs look good. They were not playing at all on that day. And after that, they were brought down to earth by a very good Liverpool side. And as I said, it's still early days. And in Pochettino, we do believe that he's trying to change things around. And I feel that the team has got a long way to go and a lot of tough teams coming up.
Alright then, you're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live, and today we turn the focus on the return of the English Premier League after the international break. And if you've just joined us, we've got Tottenham fan Vinod Nair, Guna Eric Ong, and Liverpool diehard Henry Han, and together with Manchester United supporter Bruce Kam. Now Vinod, still on you. You mentioned that QPR game, and the player that stands out for me will be Eric Lamela. I mean, he didn't have a good season last campaign, but this time around he seems to have a good interplay with Eriksen and Nasser Chadli as well.
Yes, I believe the new manager Pochettino has actually breathed a new life into him, and he looked very lively in the recent games, but I feel that he's still untested against the bigger oppositions. And in Pochettino, what I feel that he's very adventurous and he believes in the attacking style of game, hard pressing game, which was what he did at Southampton very successfully. And if you notice, the players' fitness have also improved under him. And they are trying to adapt to his style, but I feel that it will take some time.
Right, now talking of styles and coaches, Bruce, you've heard how Pochettino is changing things up at Spurs, giving them new energy, new confidence. But then manager Louis van Gaal is kind of like doing the same thing at Manchester United, but it's a bit early days for him. He's yet to get a win in the Premier League, in fact.
Right.
What, aside from Welbeck leaving, do you think that Van Gaal has made the right moves for the team so far?
For the team so far, let's see about the recent departures like Nani, Kagawa, Evra. I think they're all been pretty justified, but I'm not quite sure about Kagawa because I think he hasn't been given more than enough playing time to prove himself. But then again, we have to trust Louis van Gaal because we got to see his proven track record previously, where during his time at Bayern Munich, Barcelona, even at AZ Alkmaar. All the teams that he led to their domestic titles. So I think right now it's still only just the first month of the Premier League season. We still need to give him more time, like you said. He need at least 3 months. So let's give him that. Aside
from, you mentioned Kagawa, right? He's a key attacking midfielder at Dortmund. He is going to be a key attacking midfielder for Dortmund in this coming season. But aside from the Japanese international, who do you think did not deserve to leave? Who do you think deserved more chances this year?
I would have to say Chicharito. Because he has been there when United needed him. He's been scoring crucial goals during his early days at United. But towards the end, somehow or rather, he just couldn't last the pace of a 90-minute game, in big games actually. But he is more useful as an impact substitute, which I don't think Chicharito would want that because he wants more playing time. So good luck to him at Real Madrid then.
Yeah, well, player shake-up is one thing Van Gaal is doing right now. But then there's also the formation shake-up. I mean, the 4-4-2, the 4-2-3-1 is no longer there. There's the 3-5-2 formation. Do you think that it's working, though? As a fan watching the game, do you think
at this moment in time, most definitely it's not really working well because most of the defenders, like Tyler Blackett, Johnny Evans, Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, they're all pretty much used to a flat back four. So, like what Louis van Gaal has mentioned, it needs at least about 3 to 4 months to get used to playing a back three. And of course, the midfields, especially the wing backs, they need to get used to about not only just about protecting the back three, but they need to sprint up down the line again to support the attack as well, to supply crosses.
Exactly, especially those speedy runs down the flanks and the crosses. That's the key in the 3-5-2 actually.
Exactly.
The flank play in a sense. But Eric, it's kind of like a different playing system at Arsenal, isn't it? No 3-man backline, it's a 4-man backline with one striker in front. Is that did I miss out anything there?
The last time we played with a 3-man back line, we had Tony Adams, Steve Bow, and David O'Leary. And we were boring Arsenal then. You're kind of right that we play with mainly one up front, but we do have a plan B. If you look not too long ago at the FA Cup final, we were kind of struggling, and we threw on Sanogo up front with Giroud, and we played with 2 up front. And it was a good shake-up. So I think one of the criticisms of Wenger, perhaps, is that sometimes he's too rigid to his tactics. And sometimes as a fan, we hope he makes it up at times because we do have options up front. Yeah.
Eric, several Arsenal fans have told me they have lamented how Jack Wilshere, he's kind of the weak link in central midfield these days. He's not exactly offered much as compared to, if you want to compare with Ramsey, even Arteta. He's not much of a passer, not much of a tackler. So where does he fit then in the Arsenal team? He is a homegrown player, of course.
No, I think what Wilshere brings to us is that drive from midfield. And I think if you look at the first few games of this season, he has shown that burst that made him out to be such a special player when he broke into the team at the age of 16, 17. Injuries have not helped him. Over the last 2 years, he missed one full season, 2011, 2012. The entire season he was out. And at his age, with the kind of injuries, it takes time. And it doesn't help also that the English media, put so much on him to say he's the next great hope of England, the next Paul Gascoigne and what have you. Hey, he's only 22, but he seems to be around forever. But this season, I think, for him personally, is a big year for him. And I think he has shown that it could be a breakthrough year, just like Ramsey had for us last season.
And what of Alexis Sanchez? Do you think that was a a good signing by Wenger, seeing how a defensive midfielder was like the priority, seeing how last season you guys weren't that strong in central midfield, but then attacking a winger and a striker, is that correct move?
I mean, you're not going to say no if Alexis Sanchez is available. I think he's a marquee signing. You know, he has played for the biggest clubs. For Barcelona, and he brings that kind of expectation, and it relieves the mood not only of the fans but of the whole team as well. And I think if you talk about how he started the season, I think he has done reasonably well. I think you just have to look at the Besiktas game, the one that we was really nervous at the Emirates. What Alexis brought to us was not just his goal or his inventiveness up front, but he was willing to track back and fight for every ball. He was buzzing, he was tackling and all that. And that's something that is when fans look and they say, wow, this player is willing to work his socks off for Arsenal. And I think his quality will show in time. I mean, he's new to the league, new to the team, new to the system. So he needs a couple of months maybe. Yeah.
Right. Now, speaking of player systems, now, Henry, it's kind of like a similar format backline formation at Anfield for Liverpool.
Yes.
But admittedly, you have to admit, last season, the fullback positions weren't exactly the strongest forte for the Liverpool side. Glenn Johnson, he can attack, but his defense is a bit suspect. Jose Enrique, half the time, don't know what he's doing down the left flank. But then this year, there's Alberto Moreno and Javier Manquillo. Do you think those are good replacements for the two I mentioned?
I would say that they bring a different side of the game. As all of us soccer fans know, nowadays the game is no more formation. It's about the key point that most coaches will be saying is that the transition. There's transition from defense to attack, transitions from attack to defense, how fast you recover and stuff. Both players haven't said that. For Moreno, I think he is doing well. He brings a pace. I will feel that he reminds me of a little bit of Risa. Sorry to mention that the last game he scored against Spurs, but the way he drives up, he sees the opportunity, he drives, he runs from the left back all the way past the halfway line. It's exciting. It feels like we have somebody that's going to come in and shoot, and gives the whole team a different envelope, because now anybody can shoot, anybody can score, anybody. It can come from anywhere now. So the team as a whole is more all round. It's not like last season, everything is Torres, and a few seasons back ago they mentioned everything was Torres. It gives a more complete picture. So now the threat is from everywhere.
Right. Now Vino, let's get to you now, away from the players and formation and all the tactical stuff. Spurs were in the news lately regarding their ground. They're no longer moving from White Hart Lane, I hear, because of renovation. Their ongoing renovation works, but the ground, they're not going to get the land from Archway Steel or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that going to be a bad thing? Because I heard 2017 they might not even have a home stadium to play in.
Yes, that's the debate that is going on now, and they've got very few options. And one of them was mooted as the Emirates Stadium, and the next one was the MK Don Stadium. And if you were to ask me, the MK Don Stadium seems a good option. They've got lots of good facilities, but it's a very long journey for all the supporters. And I feel that the MK Don Stadium is the best option to appease the Spurs fans.
Yeah, you mentioned the Emirates Stadium, and I saw Eric squirming.
Yes.
And he's sitting beside you. Eric, do you think you welcome Spurs to share the Emirates Stadium with you guys?
I think it's not going to happen. It's like Vinod said, it's really a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
But you never say never, because if you look at the big clubs in Italy,
San Siro.
San Siro,
Stadio Olimpico, yes.
Yeah, Lazio and Rome, two of the biggest rivals, they share stadiums. So I'm not going to be neighborly and say yes, we welcome them. I really don't think it's going to happen in England. Yeah.
But he has done before, I mean, a few decades ago, United and Man City shared Main Road as a home ground for one season,
Yeah. So for entertainment value, I mean, for the fans, that could be exciting.
If it does happen, it would be great in the sense that Spurs fans will have to walk past the statues of Thierry Henry, Tony Adams, and Herbert Chapman every home game. That would be lovely. Yeah.
But right now, at least the two of you are very friendly.
Well, on that note, coming up after the news, we'll be talking about the other teams in the top half of the table, the Champions League. Plus, we'll hear from former Chelsea playmaker Deco. So stay tuned, because it's all happening right here on 938 Live.
Hey Singapore, this is former Liverpool and Real Madrid winger Steve McManaman. You're locked onto SportsZone on 938 Live.
Welcome back to Sports Zone on 938 Live. If you've just joined us, today we bring the focus back to the English Premier League as we returned from the international break last week. Our EPL fans are in the studio to talk about English football. We've got Tottenham Hotspur diehard fan Vinod Nair. Bruce Kam is here as well. He's the head of PR and media for the Manchester United Supporters Club Singapore. They're joined by Henry Han, committee member of the official Liverpool FC fan club, and completing our panel today is Eric Ong, president of the Arsenal Singapore Supporters Club. And let's jump right into all the action, starting with the UEFA Champions League fixtures, which kicks off next week. Now, Vinod and Bruce are already kind of like shifting uncomfortably in their seats because both Spurs and Man U aren't in Europe. But Henry,
Spurs are in Europe.
Europa League, but not Champions League per se. Well, Henry, your Liverpool will be playing in the competition for the first time in 6 years?
Yes, 6 long years.
6 long years. Now, it's Liverpool against Ludo Graz on Wednesday morning. Not much is known about the Bulgarian side, but how confident are you of a win against these relative minnows, so to speak?
Okay, I would like to clarify. I don't think any team that is in the Champions League is a minnows. I think every team that is there qualifies on their own merits. I shall not go into why they qualify. It's the Champions League. It's where all the players want to be seen. It's a good exposure. It's the highest level of soccer in the European side. So my take on the issue is, as far as Champions League is concerned, as long as you are a more well-known team, you have to perform. Whether you like it or not, whoever the opponent is, you have to perform and if you get the win. Because after you get the wins and then on, you go past the group stage, then the knockout stage is very much all in the game. Yeah.
There's pressure for you to win given your history. I mean, you guys were former winners, right, of the tournament. Now, the Reds got very far in the Premier League last season, but that's only because you guys didn't play in the Champions League. Now, will your participation in Europe affect the domestic league somewhat, the domestic form somewhat?
Well, to say no would be an understatement. I guess it's all teams that are in Champions League will suffer a bit of fatigues and stuff, especially the players. That's why I think the Gaffer has actually bought more players this year. Our squad is strong. We have at least 2 players for each positions and stuff. And then with the academies and the players that's been loaned out and stuff, I think we will do okay.
Spoken like a confident Liverpool fan there. Now, Eric, the other game sees Arsenal against Borussia Dortmund. You mentioned how you meet the black and yellow team every other season in the Champions League. But this could actually be the year that the Gunners go far in the tournament, given the newfound quality in the squad. We mentioned Welbeck, we mentioned Sanchez. But Dortmund are strong too. Let's not forget that 2 seasons ago, they were Champions League runners-up. Yeah. What's your take on Dortmund?
I think the reason why we all want to play in the Champions League is for games like this. You to play the big teams, the Munichs, the Dortmunds. And if you see the game at Dortmund, the stadium, with full house and the tifo of the fans, it's a fantastic occasion, not only for the fans, but for the players as well. These are the type of games, as top professionals, you want to be playing in. And I think everyone is looking forward to the trip. And this season, my hope from the group stage is to try to top it. Over the last few years, we finished second in a group. Of course, the priority is to get into the next round. But by finishing second, we open ourselves up to being drawn against a big team in the next round. We've drawn against Bayern, against Barcelona on 3 of the last 4 seasons. So, so hopefully this season we get off to a good start and kick on from there.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the atmosphere at Dortmund, because it's said that the Signal Iduna Park, it has one of the best atmospheres in Europe when it comes to football. There's a standing section where all the fans stand, they hold their hands and they jump. I'm sure you've seen that.
I think Germany, fans in Germany, they set the standard of for the whole of Europe, or maybe even rest of the world. I mean, apart from South America, of how fans can, be the cliche, the 12th man for the team. I think they are really something that we can all learn from, even for Singapore fans here in Singapore. You know, when we go and support our Lions.
Well said.
Yeah, that's how
Yes,
I think we should learn from them. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, not just how we learn from fans, but the way they play. But that's another show altogether. But Bruce, Man United, but your noisy neighbours, Manchester City, are up against Bayern Munich on Thursday morning. Surely you're banking on Bayern to thrash and silence the citizens.
Most definitely, because the last time that they played in the Champions League last season, City beat Munich at the Allianz. So I'm pretty sure Bayern Munich will want something back in terms of vengeance, though.
Vengeance and pride, yeah?
Yes.
Now, any chance at all for Man City to have a good season in Europe? Are they going to...
Not a chance. You know why? Because they're in the group of death. Not only they have to tackle Bayern Munich, but they have to tackle AS Roma.
That's right,
and
that's right.
I tell you, even though Roma may be away from the Champions League for a few years, just like Liverpool did.
Okay,
Yep,
fine.
True.
Point taken.
But they will always have can always count on their inspirational captain, Francesco Totti.
Yeah, the veteran. He's Mr. Roma himself, huh?
And not only just that, like what Eric has mentioned about the 12 men, do not underestimate the ultras or the die-hard fans from Roma, because they are usually from the Couva South, which is where they located at the south stand of the stadium. So they will definitely lift the Romans up and conquer the city.
That's right. You know, when you mention Roma, what comes to mind is the red flares and the smoky stadiums. Wow, that's quite a sight.
Most definitely.
If you're a visiting fan, I'm sure you'll be really afraid. Now, Vinod, Bruce isn't the only one with rich neighbours in the UCL. Your Londoners, Chelsea, are in action against Schalke on Thursday. But would this be a walk in the park for the Blues, the London Blues, of course?
Yes, I believe so. Chelsea look too strong. With all the players having Champions League experience, and you have got the special one, I think Chelsea is going to top the group.
All right. Now, but do you think Spurs, though, can replicate Chelsea and qualify for the Champions League, though, next season under Pochettino? I'm sure it's always nice to have more than two London teams in the Champions League, don't you agree?
Yes, I really hope so, being a Spurs fan. But I think it's definitely not going to be this season. For Spurs, they've got a long way to go. And they are still short of 2 to 3 signings, quality signings, to really tackle the top 4.
Right, and Tottenham's campaign in the Europa League this season, Besiktas, Partizan Belgrade and Asteras, not easy at all. I mean, look at Besiktas and the Turkish fans, when they support their home team, it's really fanatic.
That's true. It's going to be a pretty tough ride, but Pochettino is really focusing on the Europa League, because the winner gets to qualify for the Champions League. So actually his focus will be on the Europa League, and he'll be doing his utmost best to qualify.
All right, now, Henry, let's take the plane away from Europe. Let's take the plane back to England and back to the EPL, because I'm looking at the league table and I see Aston Villa and Swansea in the top 4. And it's only been 3 games, but do you think that it's strange? It's out of the ordinary for these two teams to be so high up in the table?
Nah, I don't think it's strange. As you mentioned, it's just the start of the season. Chelsea got 9 points. I would like to stress also Swansea got 9 points. The only reason why Chelsea is the top of the table right now is because they got more goals and stuff. They've had a better few games. Between Swansea and Aston Villa, they haven't really played the bigger teams yet. So, the table will change quickly. And probably maybe by October, November, give and take, you'll see the usual people in the upper half of the table and the usual people on the lower half.
Right. Now, at Swansea, they play beautiful football, so that's not a surprise. But Aston Villa is quite a surprise this year. They have a player named Fabian Delph. He lasted the full game against the Swiss playing for England. But do you think that players like Fabian Delph and even Wilshere, do you think they can replace your captain Steven Gerrard in the England setup, though?
I guess that's a possibility. Although being a little bit biased, I will hope that Henderson will be the one taking over Gerrard's role.
Yeah. Right. But they're different kettles of fish altogether, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Bruce, what do you make of Swansea? The Swans did, after all, defeat Man U in the opener. Let's not forget that painful memory.
Yes. But it was based on defensive mistakes, individual mistakes for the Swansea game in the first game, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, when you look at Swansea and Aston Villa, does it occur to you that it's not money isn't everything in the modern game these days, because you need team cohesion and good tactics to win, especially in the Premier League, which is, I think, one of the most difficult leagues in the world.
Yes, I do agree that it's one of the most exciting leagues in the world, but I wouldn't say it's the most toughest, although I think the Bundesliga would be the most toughest. That's what I feel, because it's like more than just 6 teams that are fighting for the title, and the brand of football that the Bundesliga is playing is much more attractive to watch, to be honest.
And
I'm not quite sure about the rest of the guys here.
Premier League's a bit faster, you know. We like to run fast, keep running.
Yeah, the Premier League's more about hard running, but when it comes to football, Bundesliga, well, you should watch the other teams like Hoffenheim, Werder Bremen, Hertha Berlin, the way they play. Wow.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, SC Paderborn, which just got promoted, they are second in the Bundesliga, so that's pretty exciting and unpredictable as well.
Hence, it's not surprising that Swansea is still in the top half of the league, though.
No comment from me.
Well, Vinod, are you surprised to find Southampton in the top half of the table? You've taken their coach, ripped out their coach away from them to Tottenham. 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss for the Saints so far. But is it too soon though? Will they survive the season?
Okay, I believe that they will survive. And if you were to look at the game against Liverpool, Southampton really played well. And they have the players, despite their loss of the major players like Luke Shaw, Lallana, they still have the rest of the players who have played last season. And I think they will gel together and they will steer the club to safety.
And one reason reason why I really like Southampton as a team is the way they raise their youngsters into the first team. And
yes, right.
Some of these youngsters, they move on to other clubs. Arsenal can attest to this. You've bought Callum Chambers, former Saints players, Walcott as well, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. Do you think Arsenal could learn a bit from the Saints Youth Academy in this sense?
Well, if you look at our Arsenal Youth Academy, we do have quite a number of players who come through the ranks. But at the top club, it's hard for a player to break through into the first team. But we do have examples. Wilshere was from our academy. Kieran Gibbs was from our academy. Chesney came to our club at 16. He grew up through the academy and became a first team regular. So there have been a lot of examples. And if you look at the next crop of youngsters, there's in our academy right now, Chuba Ekpom, Gideon Zeller-Lamb, and a name, Dan Crowley. These are names that to look out for in the next few years. They're only 17, 16 years old. So I think what the academy does at the big clubs is not so much, ideally you want the players to break through for your own team. But a lot of these players go on to have a good career in football, whether at another Premier League club or even lower down the Football League. So I think you have to look at it that way.
In the big picture.
In the big picture, yeah.
All right, now, Eric, one team that's yet to truly hit the ground running, though, is Everton. They've signed Samuel Eto'o, among others, but they got thrashed 6-3 by Chelsea in their previous game. But do you think the Toffees are in trouble this season? They've lost a bit of their magic from last year. Last campaign, sorry.
I won't say they will be in trouble. That game, the 6-3 game, the tennis score, that was really fun to watch for a neutral. And I think I speak for a lot of other fans, maybe apart from Liverpool, that Everton is like a nice second team. If it's not for your team, which other team do you want to see up there? Most likely it's Everton. It's the people's club, under a nice manager, right? Roberto Martinez, unlike Mourinho, he's not here. He's a nice manager, nice players, and the fans have been long suffering. So I hope they do well as long as they finish below Arsenal.
Sweet little club, the Toffees of all names. Well, on that note, we'll be going for a traffic update. But when we come back, we'll continue with the English Premier League. So, but we do want to hear your views on your favourite teams as well. So do call us now at 669-11938. That's 669-11938 to talk about your favourite teams on our show today. Time now for Traffic Watch.
Hey Singapore, this is former England striker Les Ferdinand. For all your football news, stay tuned to the best in sport on 938 Live.
Welcome back to the final stretch of SportsZone as we resume our preview of the English Premier League. Now, we want to hear your views on your favourite teams. Do you think Manchester United will win their first game tomorrow when they face QPR? Will Super Mario score for Liverpool against Aston Villa? And can Arsenal beat Manchester City this evening? Call us now. We want to hear all of it. 669-11938. That's 669-11938. For now, though, let's hear from ex-Chelsea man Deco as he chats about his views on the Premier League.
And now let's talk about Chelsea a little. Recently, I'm not sure if you are aware, but Cristiano Ronaldo criticised Jose Mourinho for his management style at Real Madrid, where he said there was a bad atmosphere at the club when Mourinho was around. Having worked under Mourinho at Porto itself and having known the manager, are you surprised at Ronaldo's comments?
I don't know, because it's difficult when you are out to make a comment, talk about something that you don't know. I know Cristiano, I know Mourinho. Mourinho still be a friend. I don't know what's happened inside of the club, but of course it's strange when you see one player and one coach, they are criticizing each other. But of course, I don't know what's happened.
And how is Mourinho like as a manager? I mean, from your personal experience, what do you think of him as a manager?
For me, it was a fantastic experience with him. We won a lot of things and still be a friend, but I don't know, like I said, I don't know what happened in Madrid. Can talk about something that I don't know.
Okay, and sticking with Chelsea, they've made quite a good start in the English Premier League, 3 wins out of 3. One of the stars of the team is striker Diego Costa, of course. Are you surprised at how easily he has adapted to the English game?
No, because he's strong, he's fast, he fights all the game, and of course for him it will be easy to adapt in the Premier League. And he's not a technical striker, he's one fight, and I think it's good for Chelsea, it's good for him.
And speaking of adaptation, let's talk about Manchester United, because they have Louis van Gaal. They're trying to fit into a 3-5-2 formation, but they've obviously not managed to do it. They're winless in 4 games. What do you think is the problem with the team right now?
Of course, everything is starting. We don't know what's happening in the future. But of course, Van Gaal is a fantastic coach. He brings a lot of new players for the club. He needs a little time. We see how much time he needs. But of course, I think Manu will be strong.
And that was ex-Blues playmaker Deco speaking to my colleague Noah Tan last week when he was in town for the 2014 Tiger Street Futsal Finals. Let's talk about Chelsea in a moment, but we do have a caller. Well, let's get back to Juan, who's on the line right now. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I cannot really hear. It's very soft. I don't know why.
Okay,
anyways,
no
I'm a big Spurs fan, and just been listening to all the views here. A bit worried about the stadium. But I'd just like to express my great disappointment that we didn't get Frank de Boer. I think I would much prefer him to Pochettino, although the jury's still out on Pochettino. And I really want to get someone's opinion on why we didn't manage to sign Memphis Depay. Thank you.
Right, thanks a lot. Now, what do you have to say to that?
Memphis Depay, he actually wanted to renew his contract. But there is still a possibility that Spurs might get him eventually. But according to Van Gaal, he actually advised Memphis Depay to stay on and develop as a player before moving to the Premiership. But I think he is really ready for the Premiership.
Well, Dutch players performing there. He performed in the World Cup, I remember, Memphis Depay. But maybe he's not ready this season, maybe next season. All right, now let's have another caller on the line. Hi, good morning.
Okay, this is Banan. That's now who called me. I had
okay.
problem with my phone. Okay, that's okay. Let me be nice to all those guys over there in the air, no? Hi, guys over there. The EPL has been started.
Hi.
What's up, Banan?
All right.
What's up?
Okay, I am a Man U fan.
Hey.
Okay, I would like to say something about Man U. Okay, since they are not in the Champions League, it's okay for us. But I would like to see them perform this term so that they will. Next term, they will be in the Champions League.
All right, Vanan. Yeah, definitely with all the new players, right? Being bought by Van Gaal. About 6 players making a debut.
Hopefully these guys will do better this term because they will have a lot of time to be together and play together and perform well.
All right. Thank you, Vanan.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what do you think?
With regards to what Vanan's comments, in relations to that, I'm pretty sure United have to finish it at least in the top 3 because that's what Louis van Gaal has reviewed in his press conference. That it's either top 3 or his job is on the line.
Top 3 or bust, right?
Exactly.
Bruce, yeah.
So most likely, we have to perform. So hence that's why, like what I've mentioned, his job is on the line. If not, he has to go. Louis van Gaal.
Well, Henry, what do you have to say about Louis van Gaal? Before the show, you were a bit apprehensive, because Louis van Gaal, the Premier League is a different kettle of fish for the guy himself. But what do you think?
I wouldn't say I'm apprehensive. I'm actually think that he's a good manager, both in the various clubs before and as well as the national team Holland. I think it's a matter of Man U, to be honest. In all honesty, as a soccer fan, I think that they're in a team of transition. The players are getting used to the new manager's style of playing and stuff. It's a bit different playing 3-5. It's a bit difficult to play from 4-4-2 to 3-5-2 because as the 3 centre backs, the flanks are quite exposed and the centre backs can't really do much if the the left mid or the right mid doesn't come back to defend. So it's very much a system that the players need to get used to.
Over time, hopefully, right?
Hopefully, yes, over time.
All right. Now, Vinod, we're talking about Memphis Depay from the Dutch national team. Let's hear from another Dutch national team member who recently joined Man U.
He's very strict and very directly in what he wants, the style he wants to play for the team, and every game that could be a different style. Yeah, during the World Cups, he's reading the game so good, and his predictions about the game almost come true every game, and that's how we can prepare as a player, fully 100% for each game.
And that was Daley Blind there from the Dutch national team talking about Louis van Gaal. Vinod, what do you make of this? The Dutch system in an English league?
Well, I believe Van Gaal knows what he's doing, and I believe he needs the time to have his style imposed for Manchester United. And he has made some very good signings, Di Maria, Falcao, and he's trying to bring in a few Dutch players. I think he wants them to fit into his system, and I think it'll be a matter of time. When you will see the real menu. And although there's no Fergie time, it will soon be Van Gaal's time.
Yeah, we were talking about this, weren't we, Bruce, about Fergie time and all that?
Yeah, that's right.
Bruce time.
Well, okay, Eric, before we go though, it's still on Man U. Do you think it's too soon for them to challenge for the title? They say that third is their aim.
I hope it's too soon.
Is that even a possibility, third?
I think the stakes are really high for Van Gaal and for the club. After the amount of money they spend, for them to have another unsuccessful season like last season would be too much for the owners or for the club to take.
Just put it this way, Eric. We really can't afford to have another unsuccessful season like last season. No,
I think under David Moyes, I mean, you can say that he should have been given more time. But Van Gaal coming in with the kind of pedigree he has, the clubs that he's managed in the past, he's not going to be given that kind of time.
He's going to get less time.
He's going to get less time.
Even less time.
Okay, Van Gaal time or not, he's going to get less time. Especially after the way they spend their way through the summer.
Correct, exactly like what Henry has said already. By Christmas, if United is not challenging for a Champions League place or even to be in the top floor, his job is definitely on the line for Louis van Gaal.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in his seat right now. There's a lot of pressure for Van Gaal. But where it remains to be seen whether they'll return to Europe next season. Well, on that note, that's all the time we have SportsZone today. A big thank you to our Tottenham Hotspur diehard fan, Vinod Nair. Bruce, who's the head of PR and media for the Manchester United Supporters Club. All right. Now, thanks as well to Henry Han, committee member of the official Liverpool FC fan club, and also to Eric Ong, president of the Arsenal Singapore Supporters Club.
Our pleasure.
Right,
it's our pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, you guys. And until next time, I'm Noor Farhan. Take care and bye for now.
Bye.